for me to put the room 101, and I think this is a big education piece for investors and people wanting to get into the property market. It is those people out there that are, on Instagram shouting out about it. And I know we're doing podcasts and everything else, but it's more about shouting about the BRR model and get rich quick.
Yeah.
And I think it's a false sense of hope for investors thinking that they can come in, do everything that they're doing because they have all of these tools where these people are showing what they're doing and saying, oh, I bought this at auction, or I bought this because I knew the landlord and I went and did this and I beat them up and I've got my own refurb team. That's why I only did it for 20 grand when actually it cost 50. Oh, and I refinanced this and I put this in it and now I've got no money tied up in this deal. You can do it. Yeah. I'm like, no, you can't. Yeah, and it's that false sense of salesmanship on what they're doing. And I really hate it, because what it needs to do is it needs to make people understand that there are risks involved with what they're doing and that they have to take stock where you can't make double your money. This isn't Bitcoin that goes up, down in a day and, oh, look at that, I'm off I'm going. This is long-term wealth.
For me, I think on a similar sort of strand, for me, it's the whole lease option industry. I'm genuinely, look, don't get me wrong, I've done lease options. They're okay. Like, there's many things that you don't know. Exiting onto a mortgage on a lease option, it's next to impossible. You end up having to buy cash or buy brick. Like, there's so many complexities around it that people don't tell you. Oh, you buy a house for £1. It's like, well, you don't, do you? Because you have to pay for legal fees. You have to negotiate it with, like, there's so much within that I get really frustrated with, because people come in with very unrealistic expectations. And it sort of ties in beautifully to what you said, where, you'll get newer investors who get hooked into this whole game of, I can buy houses without having any money. They try and get into the industry. They get burnt inevitably because they don't really know what they're doing, even though they've just dropped 20 grand on a mentorship course, right? And they come out and they don't really get the knowledge, because it's not knowledge you can just gain. It's you have to learn through learning, right? Not through being told. And then when they get burned, then they're off the industry. They don't want to be involved in the industry anymore. And what some of these training companies are doing, and some of these people teaching lease options, not all of them, but they're basically taking, people who have the potential to be able to genuinely change their future and their family's future by getting involved in the property industry, building a portfolio, doing it the right way, creating an income, creating a legacy. They're taking those people, they're getting those people burned, and those people then exit the industry and never do it because they've had one bad experience because they weren't taught the right way.
On that, when you do those types of options, someone has to lose massively.
Absolutely.
And there's no win-win. When you're doing a normal sale, when someone's buying a house, when you bought your own house, that person wanted to sell it for that price. You were happy to pay that price. You both gained in that transaction.